In the dimly lit corners of the art world where enigma and beauty intertwine, there exists a masterpiece of chilling allure. The Cursed Portrait, an enigmatic canvas that has traversed centuries. This painting is an enigma, a siren's song to those who dare to gaze upon it. But our story doesn't begin with the painting. It starts with Sarah, an art historian whose passion for the arcane and the inexplicable led her on a journey she could never have imagined. Sarah's fascination with the Cursed Portrait would propel her into the heart of a mystery, one that defied reason and blurred the lines between reality and the supernatural. Intrigue lingers in every brushstroke, and as we venture deeper into the shadows of Sarah's quest, we shall unlock the secrets of this ominous masterpiece and bear witness to the unsettling forces that have ensnared her in their icy grasp. The journey has only just begun, dear reader, and with each step, the canvas of Sarah's fate shall unfurl into a tapestry of chilling wonder and profound dread. Sarah had always been captivated by art, particularly pieces with a mysterious history. She spent her days as an unassuming art historian, meticulously cataloging and studying the world's most renowned masterpieces. But nothing had prepared her for the moment she stumbled upon the Cursed Portrait. It was an autumn afternoon when Sarah's curiosity led her to a small, dimly lit gallery tucked away in a forgotten corner of the city. As she stepped into the gallery, her eyes were immediately drawn to a painting shrouded in darkness. The room seemed to grow colder and the air hummed with an eerie energy. The painting was unlike anything she had ever seen before. It depicted a hauntingly beautiful woman with obsidian black hair cascading down her back like a waterfall of shadows. Her porcelain skin was as pale as the moon, and her eyes, two orbs of shimmering onyx, seemed to follow Sarah's every move. The woman's expression held a captivating mix of allure and malevolence, drawing Sarah in like a moth to a flame. It was as if the painting had a life of its own, a sinister story to tell. Sarah inquired about the artwork, her voice trembling with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. The gallery owner, an elderly man with weary eyes, whispered tales of tragedy and doom associated with the painting. He spoke of past owners who had met grisly ends, their lives consumed by the curse of the portrait. Despite the warnings, Sarah felt an irresistible pull towards the artwork. Her heart raced with a determination to uncover the truth behind the legend. She knew she had to possess it, to unlock the secrets it held. As the bidding war commenced at the prestigious art gallery auction, Sarah's heart pounded in her chest. She had to outbid wealthy collectors and art enthusiasts, all of whom seemed equally drawn to the cursed masterpiece. With trembling hands, she raised her paddle and placed her final bid. The room held its breath as the auctioneer's gavel fell, sealing her fate. Sarah had won the cursed painting, but she had no idea of the horrors that would soon befall her. Little did she know, the painting was merely the first brushstroke in a nightmarish masterpiece of her own making. Sarah's heart raced with anticipation as she carefully unwrapped the cursed painting in her cozy, historic home. The evening sun cast long shadows, painting the room in an eerie twilight. She hung the ominous masterpiece prominently in her living room, its unsettling depiction now a focal point of her once peaceful abode. As she gazed upon the artwork, her breath caught in her throat. The painting seemed to have a life of its own. The eyes of the central figure, a spectral woman shrouded in darkness, bore into her soul as if beckoning her to unlock its secrets. The subtle, unsettling details in the painting became more apparent with every passing moment. The twisted trees, the blood-red sky, and the ethereal mist that clung to the landscape. Sarah couldn't deny that the painting held a unique and haunting beauty. It was a work of artistry that transcended the boundaries of the ordinary, and that's what had drawn her to it in the first place. But she couldn't shake the feeling that the Cursed Portrait was more than just a painting. It was a window into something far more sinister. As night descended, Sarah's home took on an eerie ambiance. She heard faint whispers like distant echoes of forgotten voices emanating from the living room. A chill ran down her spine, and she dismissed the sounds as figments of her imagination. But the whispers persisted, growing louder and more distinct with each passing hour. She ventured closer to the painting, her breath visible in the cold, clammy air. It was as if the painting itself was alive, its colors shifting and swirling in the dim light. Sarah reached out to touch it, and a sharp gust of wind seemed to blow from within the painting, extinguishing the nearby candles. Fear crept over her as she realized that the cursed painting was anything but ordinary. It held a malevolent power that defied explanation. Sarah retreated to her bedroom, her thoughts consumed by the enigma that now loomed large in her life. As she lay in bed, the whispers grew louder, filling her room with an otherworldly symphony of voices. They were voices of torment, anguish, and despair. She clutched her pillow, unable to block out the haunting cacophony. Little did Sarah know that her life had become inexorably entwined with the cursed painting. The dark secrets it held were poised to reveal themselves, and she was the unwitting participant in a malevolent masterpiece that was far from complete. Sarah's obsession with the cursed portrait grew with every passing day. She couldn't tear her eyes away from its unsettling depiction. The more she delved into its history, the more she realized that its previous owners had met gruesome fates, leading to rumors of an insidious curse. In her small, dimly lit study, Sarah meticulously pieced together the painting's past. It had traveled through centuries, changing hands like a cursed coin. Each owner had met a horrifying end: tragic accidents, unexplainable illnesses, and mysterious disappearances. Yet, despite the ominous stories, Sarah couldn't bring herself to part with the artwork. It was as if the painting had cast a spell on her, drawing her deeper into its eerie embrace. Friends and family grew concerned, pleading with Sarah to sell the accursed piece. They saw the toll it was taking on her, how she had become consumed by its dark allure. But Sarah was resolute. She couldn't let go of the one thing that had ignited her passion like no other. As she continued her research, Sarah began to see disturbing parallels between herself and the figures in the painting. It wasn't just her obsession. It was as though the haunting faces in the artwork were seeping into her own features. The lines on her face deepened, her eyes took on a shadowed intensity, and her once vibrant spirit seemed to wane. Sarah's world became a labyrinth of art and obsession, with no way out. She was on a collision course with a destiny she couldn't escape, and she knew that only by unlocking the painting's secrets could she hope to break free from its sinister grasp.
As the nights grew longer, Sarah found herself ensnared in a nightmarish web spun by the cursed painting. It was as if the malevolent spirits within the artwork had found a gateway into her dreams. Each night, Sarah would drift into restless slumber, only to be greeted by vivid and horrifying visions inspired by the painting. In these dreamscapes, she stood at the edge of a dark abyss, staring into abyssal eyes that seemed to penetrate her very soul. Figures from the artwork took form around her, their grotesque features shifting and contorting as they circled her in a haunting dance. One recurring dream was particularly chilling. In it, Sarah was trapped inside the painting itself, surrounded by the twisted landscapes and haunted figures that had once been mere brushstrokes on canvas. She could feel their bony fingers graze her skin, and their eerie whispers echoed in her ears, promising an eternity of torment. The days were no respite from the painting's relentless grip on her psyche. Sarah began to notice subtle changes in her own appearance. Her once vibrant eyes took on a hollow, haunted look, mirroring the vacant stares of the cursed figures. Dark circles formed beneath her eyes as sleepless nights took their toll. Sarah's friends and family, growing increasingly concerned, confronted her about her deteriorating mental state. They pleaded with her to rid herself of the accursed artwork, but her obsession had become a vise, clamped tight around her heart. As she descended further into the abyss of her own making, Sarah clung to the painting as if it were her lifeline. She couldn't bear to part with it, even as it seemed determined to consume her. The cursed masterpiece had become both her muse and her tormentor, and there was no turning back from the dark path she now walked. The moon hung low in the night sky, casting eerie shadows across Sarah's dimly lit room. She sat on her antique armchair, staring at the cursed painting that dominated the wall. The once elegant room had become a battleground between sanity and the supernatural. Each night brought nightmarish visions that bled into her waking hours. Figures from the painting seemed to taunt her, their twisted faces leering as if whispering dark secrets. The torment was relentless, and Sarah's world crumbled as she grappled with her own unraveling mind. Her once vibrant social life had withered away. Friends and family had grown distant, frightened by her obsession with the cursed masterpiece. Sarah's appearance had undergone a sinister transformation, mirroring the haunting figures within the painting. Her skin grew pale, her eyes hollow, and dark circles marred her face. One chilling evening, as Sarah gazed upon the painting's wicked depiction, she heard a voice, a sinister whisper that seemed to emerge from the very canvas itself. It beckoned her, promising answers to the questions that gnawed at her soul. Sarah hesitated, her heart pounding in her chest, but the relentless pull of curiosity drew her closer. She reached out, her fingers trembling, and touched the surface of the painting. As she did, an invisible force seemed to engulf her, pulling her into the twisted world depicted within the frame. The room around her dissolved into a nightmarish realm, where reality and the supernatural converged. Sarah was no longer an observer, but a captive of the cursed painting, trapped in a macabre world of torment and despair. With each passing day, her grip on reality slipped further. The cursed painting had become an inescapable prison, and Sarah's descent into madness was a foregone conclusion. The boundary between the living and the supernatural had blurred, leaving her trapped in a nightmarish limbo, a prisoner of her own obsession. As Sarah grappled with her spiraling mind, the cursed painting's malevolent influence tightened its grip, pushing her to the brink of her darkest fears. The chilling climax of her harrowing journey was yet to come, and Sarah's ultimate fate hung in the balance, teetering between madness and an unknown abyss. As Sarah delved deeper into the painting's history, her obsession became all-consuming. Her cozy home turned into a labyrinth of notes, sketches, and articles about the cursed portrait. She barely slept, surviving on a cocktail of coffee and determination. One moonlit night, Sarah stumbled upon a reference to an ancient ritual, hidden within the pages of a dusty, leather-bound tome. It was said to be a path to break the curse, a glimmer of hope amidst the encroaching darkness. The ritual was complex, involving incantations, symbols, and a specific arrangement of candles. Sarah was warned of its dangers, cautioned by the cryptic words of an old text, but her determination had morphed into desperation. She couldn't let the curse claim her. Seeking guidance, she contacted a mysterious figure known only as Dr. Morozov. Cloaked in shadows and shrouded in mystery, he agreed to assist Sarah in her quest. They met in a dimly lit, clandestine room filled with peculiar artifacts and arcane knowledge. Dr. Morozov, with an air of solemnity, explained the ritual's intricacies and potential consequences. He emphasized the dangerous nature of meddling with the supernatural and the price she might have to pay. Sarah's heart raced, but there was no turning back now. Together, they gathered the necessary materials: candles of varying colors, rare herbs, and an antique mirror said to possess reflective qualities beyond the mundane. The room filled with an eerie, electric energy as Sarah recited the ancient incantations, her voice trembling with a mixture of fear and hope. As the ritual reached its climax, the mirror's surface seemed to ripple, as if it were a portal into another realm. The room darkened, and Sarah felt a presence, something ancient and malevolent, yet inexplicably familiar. She glimpsed grotesque figures within the mirror, twisting and writhing, as if imprisoned in a spectral dance. The tension in the room became unbearable, and just when Sarah thought she could bear it no longer, the mirror shattered with a deafening crash. The ritual had concluded, leaving her breathless and disoriented. In the shattered remnants of the mirror, Sarah caught a glimpse of her own reflection. She looked different, as if something had changed within her. The room gradually returned to normal, and Dr. Morozov silently vanished into the shadows. Sarah was left with a sense of dread and foreboding. She had ventured into the realm of the supernatural, and the consequences of her actions remained uncertain. The cursed painting loomed over her, its eerie allure undiminished, as if mocking her feeble attempts to break its hold. Little did Sarah know that her quest had set into motion forces far beyond her comprehension, and the true nature of the curse would soon reveal itself in the most horrifying way imaginable. As Sarah stood in the dimly lit room, the cursed painting looming before her, she felt the weight of her choices pressing upon her like a vice. The room seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy, and the air grew thick with an unsettling tension. Desperation had driven Sarah to consult the mysterious Dr. Morozov, a man rumored to possess knowledge of ancient rituals and the supernatural. He had warned her about the dire consequences of meddling with forces beyond human comprehension, but Sarah had reached a point of no return. With trembling hands, Sarah followed the ritual instructions she had painstakingly researched. Candles flickered, casting eerie shadows on the walls, and incense filled the room with a pungent, otherworldly scent. She chanted incantations in a language she could barely comprehend, feeling the room grow colder with each syllable. As she recited the final words of the incantation, a deafening silence enveloped the room, broken only by the sound of her racing heartbeat. The cursed painting seemed to come to life, its figures twisting and writhing in a grotesque dance. It was as if the boundaries between the painted world and reality were dissolving. Suddenly, the room shook violently and Sarah was thrown to the ground. The painting emitted an eerie guttural sound, like a chorus of anguished souls. Terrified, Sarah watched as the figures in the painting reached out, their hands stretching beyond the canvas, grasping for something beyond. In that moment, Sarah realized the horrifying truth. She had unleashed forces far beyond her control, and they hungered for her soul. The room filled with a blinding light, and Sarah's screams were drowned out by the malevolent laughter of the figures from the cursed painting. Her world twisted and contorted as she became one with the cursed artwork, forever imprisoned in a nightmarish tableau of torment. The cursed painting had claimed its latest victim, and the room fell silent once more, the ritual complete. In the end, Sarah's obsession with the cursed painting had led her down a path of darkness and despair. The true nature of the artwork remained a chilling mystery, a legacy of horror that would continue to haunt those who dared to gaze upon it. The story serves as a cautionary tale about the consequences of obsession and the dangers of delving too deeply into the unknown.
In the end, as the cursed painting once again changes hands, its malevolent aura lingers in the air. The unsettling secrets of the cursed portrait remain shrouded in darkness, just as they have for centuries. It is said that whoever gazes upon the enigmatic masterpiece meets a horrifying fate, but the details of these fates remain a well-guarded mystery. As the painting finds its new owner, we are left with a chilling truth. The cursed artwork endures, passing from one unsuspecting victim to the next. The cycle of curiosity, obsession, and despair perpetuates as the ominous legacy of the cursed portrait continues to cast its long and sinister shadow over those who dare to possess it. But what is the true nature of this cursed masterpiece? Can its dark power ever be truly understood or harnessed? As the cursed portrait embarks on another chapter of its ominous journey, we are left to ponder the depths of human fascination and the enduring allure of the unknown. In the world of art and the supernatural, some mysteries are destined to remain unsolved, and some curses are bound to persist. As we conclude this tale, we are reminded that the line between curiosity and obsession is perilously thin, and the price of unlocking the forbidden may be far more terrifying than we could ever imagine. So, dear reader, as you close the chapter on the cursed portrait, remember that some mysteries are best left unexplored, and some artworks are best admired from a distance. For the curse that lies within may be as eternal as the darkness itself, waiting patiently for its next unsuspecting victim.